Once again, yes, already. Once again, we are back with another review. Another episode of Rock Movie Reviews. Here we go. Yep. In our last episode, we talked about
The Long Haul.
Diary of a Wimpy Kid, The Long Haul, one of the most insufferably terrible movies that either of us have seen. And today we're going to talk about a film that started that franchise that we feel entirely different about.
Film far better.
Far better. Miles better than The Long Haul. And that is 2010's Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
20th Century Fox presents Greg.
I heard girls say that Bryce Anderson has a cute butt. A butt can't be cute. It's a butt. There's Bryce. Just be cool. Hey, Bryce. Yeah, hey, Bryce. Cute butt.
Rowley.
This one, we burned. It was a present from my mom. Well, then your mom is trying to get you killed.
Patty.
Make your move! She's a girl. Where do I grab her?
Chirac.
Stop! You almost got the cheese touch.
Fregley.
Wanna see my secret freckle? Whoa! It's got a hair in it.
Roderick.
What did I tell you would happen if you ever went in my room again? I'm going to kill you.
Run!
Let go, baby hippo!
Manny. And Coach Malone.
You guys are going to be shirts, and you will be skins.
Why are we skins?
He's just trying to make kids like us feel bad.
What do you mean kids like us?
My name is Belly Button. What's yours?
One day I'll be rich and famous. But for now, I'm stuck in middle school with a bunch of morons.
Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
This is not a diary, it's a journal.
The one that started it all.
Yep.
A little bit of backstory before we go into the plot. We both grew up with the Diary of a Wimpy Kid books and the film franchise when it became that. And it was first blowing up as a book series, and then when we heard about the movie, it was kind of this, we thought it would just be this one-off thing, and then we saw the movie in theaters, and, I mean, this was one of the best theater experiences I've had. It was so much fun.
It was actually really good.
It was really good. Not only did they stay true to the characters, and the acting was spot on, but the animated sequences with the actual movie itself, they worked incredibly well. The movie's very funny, very relatable, and there's just this, like, endearing, like, lovable quality about the movie that is so genuine, that was sorely missing from The Long Haul. This is how you do a Diary of a Wimpy Kid film right. This was 2010, we saw it in the theaters, and I just remember kind of leaving the theater just being, like, really happy. A big smile on my face.
Definitely.
What a turnaround, you know? And this is still one of my favorite films in this category, in this genre, to date.
Yeah.
I love going back and rewatching these. So that being said, this film is directed by Thor Freudenthal. This was, I think, his first mainstream film. He went on to do Percy Jackson's Sea of Monsters. Also, I would say not a terrible film either. But he hasn't done a whole lot of mainstream films besides those two. And this film, I'm going to go into the plot. This film follows Greg Heffley, the one and only, as he basically tries to navigate 6th grade now that he's a middle schooler, and also deal with the awkward things about his life and his family and his friends. And it's actually mainly about his relationship with his friend Rowley and how that expands and evolves over time. And it's just about the mischief and the hijinks that they get into. And it feels like a 6th grader's really awkward life having to deal with now being a middle schooler.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
A lot of films have copied this film. They've never done it to this level before, though. Nope. This is really the quintessential middle school movie. And they just they nailed it.
And they also
really
threw in different elements to kind of more expand on the genre that it was.
They did, yeah. They played around with a lot of ideas. They added things that weren't necessarily in the book that made it better.
Yeah.
Like, they have a whole character that was not in the first book that I think actually helped this movie.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that in the cast. I think that's the main plot of the story. Speaking of cast, would you like to go through it, or you want me to go through the list and then we'll just give our thoughts?
I mean, I thought the people who played Greg, Rowley, Roderick, his mom and dad all did very good jobs at their roles.
Zachary Gordon as Greg, he just nailed it. Like,
Yeah.
I for a kid who hadn't acted a whole lot, from the very first scene when Roderick's waking him up and he thinks that he's having to get ready for school, I was like,
and then his dad's all like, "School doesn't start until next week. What are you doing?"
And then he's like, "School doesn't start," and he does not wearing a watch. He's like, 4 o'clock in the morning. Just for that opening scene of the movie, and then when it goes into the opening credits, which are animated, I was just like, this is something special. And Zachary Gordon was a excellent Greg. He completely captured what the character is, if it was like a real life character.
Yeah.
And I had a blast. Robert Capron as Raleigh, again, also a kid that hadn't acted a whole lot. He was great.
Yeah.
He captured that happy, naive personality of Raleigh, where he's just like, he loves everything.
Yeah.
And of course, Greg being the cynical and very ironic one, sarcastic.
Basically the opposite.
They really meshed well together, and their friendship also, is one of the driving points of this movie for sure.
Definitely.
I think Raleigh gets probably the most screen time in this movie, but it's hard to say because he's in the other two as well a lot. Rachel Harris as Susan Heffley, the mom.
Yep.
Perfect.
Definitely.
She's so good. She's likable. She's, unlike Alicia Silverstone's version of her, she's likable, she's relatable, and she feels like an actual mom.
Yeah.
And she's not a dated mom either. She's just like the mom that wants her kids to get the fullest out of life, and I just think she did a great job.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I had seen Rachel Harris in a movie, and I was like, oh yeah, I don't know about this, but you got it. You got it. And oh my God, Steve Zahn as the dad, Frank Heffley.
He was awesome.
He was awesome. He's funny. He's crazy. He's kind of insane in some scenes. His line delivery is perfect.
I've seen him in other work. He's really not that bad of an actor at all.
Oh, he's a very good actor. He's super, super underrated, and I think he is the dad in this trilogy, and this film in particular.
Yeah.
Perfect. I have no complaints. Connor Fielding and Owen Fielding played Manny, and we talked about the Manny in Long Haul having not done a whole lot.
Yep.
This Manny didn't do a whole lot either, but he was like endearing, and he was cute, and he had this funny like Bubby kind of, the nickname he would call Greg.
Yeah.
I don't even think he called him Bubby in the Long Haul.
No, and if I think he did, it was only like once during the entire film.
I think it was maybe during the beginning, and it was totally glossed over. This Manny actor was really good. He was also the first, so that helps.
Do we talk about Roderick?
Devin Bostick as Roderick. Okay, on the same level probably as Greg and Frank. Yeah, he over the top, but to a certain point, but never too much. He is just a blast to watch, and he completely captured what Roderick was in the books.
Yeah.
And frankly, Roderick is actually one of my favorite characters in the books.
I agree.
He's just like, he's so unpredictable and funny in his like not knowing everything but acting like he knows everything.
Yeah.
His loaded diaper, the van he has, the band he has. He's just a blast. And this was the first time I saw Devin Bostick in a film. Yeah. I seeked him out in other movies after this.
Cool.
He's great. He's so good. And nobody, especially Charlie Wright, could ever replace him.
A couple characters I do want to point out. Chloe, whatever her name is, as the new character.
Chloe Grace Moretz as Angie Stedman. Yeah, new character.
Yeah, Angie was never in the book. Even I read it, never in the book.
Yep.
But I thought they meshed her in perfectly well with the story.
They did.
They actually gave her some plot points to actually drive the story along.
They did, yeah. She really helped Greg and Raleigh in scenes, and she kind of became one of their main friends towards the end of the movie.
Yeah.
I'm kind of disappointed they didn't bring her back for the second and third film, but then the character of Holly Hills came in.
Yeah.
And that was...
I forgot about her, too.
Yeah, who?
I forgot about her, Holly Hills.
Holly Hills wasn't in the first movie.
Oh, she wasn't?
No, that's why. She came in the second movie, and then she was also in the third movie. But Angie was kind of the Holly in the first movie.
Yeah.
Because Angie was not in the first book, and Holly also wasn't in the first book, so there was no main kind of female friend
was Holly
character.
Wills that character
Holly Hills, yeah.
Who was like, had the blonde ponytails and was taller?
Yes.
Oh,
Yep. Yeah, and we'll get into that in our Roderick Rules and Dog Days review. But for the character of Angie, she was a little bit older than Greg and Riley, and she was a little bit more wise. She would like sit underneath the bleachers. She would kind of give them the lay of the land of like middle school. Her line when she said, "This place is an intellectual wasteland."
Yeah.
One of the greatest lines in the movie. Yeah, her character was just great.
I also liked Fregley's character.
Grayson Russell as Fregley completely captured the insanity and the creepy factor of his character. He was just, again, like Roderick, over the top, but perfectly so.
Yep.
It's just like, want to see my secret freckle? It's got a hair in it.
and can we, like, talk about that booger scene?
Oh my god. Yeah, I forgot about that. When Greg goes over to his house. That's, yeah.
Yep.
My god. Fregley was just the perfect level of insanity and creepy and just like weird. Crazy, yeah. But he was also like kind of lovable in the way that he portrayed the character.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. Karan Brar as Chirag Gupta. You remember him?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember Chirag being black or mulatto in the books because he might not have been.
Yeah.
But he was really good. I actually thought he elevated the character of Chirag because I didn't really think Chirag was that much of anything in the books.
Yeah.
He's really good in the movies.
But they made him more in the films.
They did. He was one of Greg's main friends, and he's the one that introduces the cheese touch in the movie.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Stop! You almost got the cheese touch!
Yep.
It was just perfect, and Brar did a really good job with that character. He was just a blast, honestly. He was a blast.
Definitely.
And the last character we haven't mentioned yet is Lane McNeil as Patty Farrell. That was the girl that always picked on Greg, that Greg did not like. He ended up hitting her in the head with an apple during the Wizard of Oz play.
Oh, yeah.
Remember? This girl had something special because her character was just manic and furious all the time, and she was in the other two films after that. That was a good choice.
Definitely.
Because when Greg's wrestling with her and she's like, she's a girl, where do I grab her?
Yeah.
And then she just pile drives into him. Perfect. Not a problem with her character at all. I think that's the main cast in a nutshell. Do you remember anybody else that we're kind of missing?
Nope.
I don't think.
Other than those bullies that made Riley eat the cheese.
Oh yeah, the bullies were actually in most of the movie. Yeah. And Greg and Riley are basically trying to elude these three older guys who are essentially trying to like prank them and also basically not kill them, but they say you're dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that makes for a lot of really funny scenes. Especially the one where they come out with the leaf blower and the the tree trimmer or whatever. That was awesome. Plus that whole Halloween sequence in the first movie. Perfect.
Definitely.
Exactly what the book portrayed it as. I loved it. It was just so much fun. Cinematography, Jack N. Green did the cinematography. I'm not going to touch on this too much. The film looks great.
Yeah.
It's really colorful. It looks really really clear, very animated, very much like the book was. And just to the designs of Greg's bedroom, to the house that they lived in, I loved all of it.
Yeah, definitely.
I love the neighborhood and the school that Greg went to. It felt very Diary of a Wimpy Kid. One character we forgot to mention was Coach Malone.
What was he, the wrestling coach?
He was the wrestling coach. Oh my god. I'm trying to remember what was his name. Where is he? Andrew McNee as Coach Malone. He wasn't super in the books.
Yeah.
But in the movies they kind of pronounced him more. He was funny.
Oh yeah.
He was really funny in his like masculine way of like doing things.
Especially when Greg tries to do everything in his willpower to actually try out for wrestling.
Yes. Yeah, it was.
And actually thinks WWE was real wrestling, which I could understand. You're young.
He's young. He's in 6th grade. Yeah, I could understand that too. It was, oh my god, it was so much fun. It really was.
Yeah.
So yeah, cinematography, that guy I just mentioned, really good job. It's a good looking film. And the music was by Theodore Shapiro. He did not come back to do the other three films, but I thought the main theme in this movie was great.
Agreed.
I love the main theme. It's even more in the second movie, especially towards the end credits. They took the Diary of a Wimpy Kid element of the books, and somehow they made a theme that felt relatable, but also silly and just like fun. And
yeah,
I can't think of Diary of a Wimpy Kid now without thinking of that theme song.
No.
And it has no singing. It's just instrumental, and it's perfect. To the point where I wasn't even disappointed that Roger Gould had that theme song at the end of the credits instead of like a bigger artist song or whatever. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, which is worth mentioning. Forever the Sickest Kids, What Do You Want From Me was the end credits song of this movie. Perfect.
Yeah.
I listened to this band shortly after hearing this song, and I got into them, and I've been following them ever since. This was the movie that got me onto FTSK.
Wow.
They are great. That song is great, and it fits the end credits perfectly.
Yeah.
If you have nothing else to add, I'm going to score this thing.
Alrighty. What would you give it?
So I'm going to give the first Diary of a Wimpy Kid... It's really tough because I like the other two more than this one, but I still think this is a great film. This is tough. I think I'm going to give it a... I'm going to give Diary of a Wimpy Kid a 7 out of 10.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I want to give it a higher score. I just think things were improved on in the second and third film that were fine in this movie. I just think they were done better in the sequels.
Yeah.
So yeah, Diary of a Kid, 7 out of 10. Really solid film. We'll watch this anytime. Rewatch it, rather. Blast.
Honestly, I think I would agree with you. I'd give it a 7 as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, isn't that interesting? Yeah, so 7 out of 10 from me, 7 out of 10 from Jake.
Yeah.
Unlike The Long Haul, we do recommend seeing this movie if you haven't. There is
Definitely.
a cinematic quality to it, just from the opening scene. It's a ton of fun. It's also, I love, unlike The Long Haul, this is aimed at adults and kids.
Yeah.
Both parties can enjoy it. It's not just aimed towards kids. There's plenty of moments that are for the adults.
Yeah.
And it's a relatable comedy, and one of my favorite comedies to date in this genre.
Yeah.
I think that's all we have to say.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys in our review of Roderick Rules, and until then, take care.